Good morning, students. Okay, I'm going to do something a bit different today, and I'm going to actually do the warm-up questions in class using this video. So you'll be watching the video to check your answers. The reason for this is the answers will then be online, so you can go ahead and jump onto YouTube if you think that you want to see these videos again. Okay, so the question is, expand these expressions using either it's called perfect squares, a plus b in brackets all squared, or alternatively a minus b in brackets all squared. And that one expands out to that, and that one expands out to that, which we showed you in class. So I'm going to do these with 2 lines of setting out. So let's have a go with the first one. Okay, that's a plus, and that's b. So I'm just going to go ahead and substitute into my expression here. So I've got a squared, so that's 3p in brackets all squared, plus, and I need 2ab, so 2 times a times b, and my third term is plus b squared. Okay, let's go ahead and simplify that. 3p all squared is 3 squared, which is 9, p squared, plus 2 times 3 is 6, pq, plus q squared. Okay, on to the second one. Now this one's a subtract, but as we've been doing in class, I'm going to change the subtract to add the negative. So I always use this particular version of the perfect squares, and I won't be using that one. Okay, once again, identify a and b. 4d is a, so I need a squared. So it's 4d in brackets squared, plus 2 times a, which is 4d, times b, which is negative 2e. So that's just filling in for, substituting into the middle term. And then finally, plus negative 2e all squared. Okay, now let's go ahead and simplify that. 4d in brackets squared, well, 4 squared is 16, d squared, plus 2 times 4 times negative 2. Well, 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. d times e is de. And the last term, negative 2e in brackets all squared. Well, negative 2 squared is positive 4e squared. Okay, I'm going to do this last one with just a single line of setting out. So change subtract to add the negative. That's a, that's b. So a squared is 6 squared, which is 36, plus, and one of my students said she likes to first multiply these and then multiply by 2. So she goes a times b and then times 2, which is probably a little bit easier. So 6 times negative 2 is negative 12 times h is negative 12h. Negative 12h times 2 is negative 24h. And the last term is b squared. Well, b is negative 2h. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4h squared. So after you've practiced a few using the 2 lines of setting out, you might want to have a go at doing some of these, just doing a lot of the working in your head and just writing down the answer. Okay, let's look at the second special expansion, which is called the difference of squares. Okay, this time we're going to be using this particular pattern, difference of squares, a plus b times a subtract b, and when you expand that out, as we did in class, that simplifies to a squared subtract b squared. So once again, I'll do a couple of these using 2 lines of setting out, and then I'll do the last one in 1 line. So these 2 terms have to match those 2 terms. One has to be plus, one has to be minus. They can be swapped. The subtraction could be first and the addition second, because it doesn't matter what order you multiply things in. So that's A, and that's B. So it's going to just be, well, in this case, I can't even do 2 lines of setting out. It's just going to be d squared subtract f squared. So you can't even figure out a way to do it in 2 lines. We'll do this one here in 2 lines. Notice I got the subtraction first and the add second. Not a problem. The order doesn't matter. So that's A, that's B. Again, these 2 terms have to be the same. These 2 terms have to be the same, with the only difference being one's minus and one's plus. So in this case, I'm going to get a squared, which is 5 squared. So I'll erase that. I'm trying to do it in 1 step. So that's going to be 5 squared minus, according to the rule, I've got to always subtract. And 2c times 2c is 2c all squared. It's a bit untidy, but so what? 5 squared is 25 subtract 4c squared. Okay, let's do the last one, just doing it in 1 step. So identify A and B. The patent says we square the first term minus the square of the second term. Well, 4a all squared. 4 times 4 is 16. A squared. It's always a subtract. It's called a difference of 2 squares for that reason. And 3b all squared is 9b squared. And that's the 2 special products, perfect squares and difference of squares.